I'm back. Told you I'd be back just a little sooner than you expected. Forgot to wrap things up here with this ongoing X flare here. It finally peaked out at an X 4.5. That's a pretty strong solar flare that we had right there. And it was Earth directed. We did take an impact. So I'm going to kind of just let this sit here for a second while a few people hop into the live stream. If you're watching this later on recording, you can just fast forward to the part where we start getting into this. But no alert went out, so there's people that haven't filed into the show yet. So well, we're kind of waiting for that to happen. I'll go over it a couple times, I guess. Here was the X flare that we were just reporting on. It was at level 3 when we were reporting on it last. And at the end of last show, I forgot to come back and touch base with this. So we need to kind of get into this. It reached a maximum of 4.5 here. All right. So quite a big flare. One of our biggest X flares we've had in a while. And it was Earth directed too. So look down here. It's been, we had M9 right before this, so a couple of large M's, all right? Everything is up right here by the line. So a lot of large M's, and now we had an X flare. There was 3 X flares in a row. Then we've had this one. This is the 4th one in a row. So within the last 24 hours, since this one right here, since this one right here, we've had 4 X flares or 3 X flares right here, and right there within the last 24 hours. So, and then that one ended up peaking out at an X 4.5 down here. You can see. All right, so it's something we didn't touch base on the end of the last show here a few minutes ago, and went out to say some grateful prayers, and he's like, "You need to get back in there and finish up." So we're back here to this part right here, at least to this event, to capture what happened here for the record. And we'll just zoom into it really quick, get a good, nice shot of it. All right, so when we were watching before, like I said, over here to the right, our indices were at X 3.0, and it was still climbing. And like I said, I forgot to come back and touch base with this. So here we are, and quite a healthy X flare right at us. Okay, 4.5 right here. So, and our X flare potential 50%, like we were talking about earlier in the earlier show. That's I've never seen it that high before. And of course, this latest X flare came out of 60 or 3663 there, the same one that's been responsible for all of these. Right, and then let me take you over here to to the D layer region. I got it freeze framed right here at the maximum of that X flare. So that's your impact zone with your R3 radio blackout right now. Okay, so coming right up to it. Boom. And it was pretty good long duration. What I'm thankful for is there's no proton storm up above and down below like we've seen sometimes out of these big X flares. All right, so hopefully we don't get that proton storm. That would not be ideal. Okay, so thankfully it doesn't appear to be any kind of proton storm. We'll see, because that's the very last little data. This event is still fresh, so it's just the tail end of this data right here. But bam, there's impact of your X 4.5 right there. All right, huge impact area, deep red. All right, that'll that'll be absorbed down into the planet as well, kicking off more pressure down below. All right, so not only do we have a bunch of pressure from all the straight up flares that hit us, now we'll have impacts coming along with these that'll double up that pressure down below. Okay, see here they've already got it showing, after we're in the green here. See, as it's starting to drop down. But like I showed you on the other D layer region, the impact right there. So that was it. It was a 4.5. So I thought it was just going to max out at 3, and it ended up being quite a blow. And in the next couple of days here, we'll probably see on the tracker what direction it's going, because I don't think anybody's there at this time of day updating the tracker. Well, one event logged. Let's see. We might get lucky. Oh, wait, right there. Now, they must be talking about this one event that's still due to hit here on the 6th, okay? So, yeah, nothing on the tracker yet. Probably be a day or two until they get that up on the tracker or whatever, but a very healthy, here it is right here. They've already updated this. A major solar flare reaching X4.5 with an R3 radio blackout was detected around AR 3663 in the northwest quadrant. This is now the 3rd strongest solar flare in terms of peak X-ray flux during the current solar cycle of 25. So our 3rd strongest flare. Coronal dimming to the north of the region is evident in the latest imagery, meaning somewhat of a CME should be expected. Uh-oh. So they saw some coronal dimming, so they're expecting somewhat of a CME. Whether there is an Earth-directed component or not will be answered once the new coronagraph imagery is available. But you see where it's located on the spheroid. If it was way over here on the limb, we'd be in better shape. But it's back here, and we can see it quite well. So if we're seeing the light from it and we're getting hit with the X-rays from it, pretty sure we're going to catch a good section of the CME or the blast radius when it comes out. Okay, we'll be somewhere in, when we go to this. Let me just open this up as for a reference tool here. I'll even load this up too while we're waiting. But the reference tool I was talking about is this side cut. This is looking down on the solar system. This is looking at it from the side of the disk, okay? And you see how this CME is blowing up this way. That's the same trajectory as our new one, probably, all right? A very similar trajectory because it came out of the same region, and it's roughly in a similar spot. So we should expect a similar event to this right here, going north of the planet. We're not watching this one right now. We're watching this one as it comes out, and most of the energy is going above the planet. But the part that does strike really strikes the northern hemisphere more so than the southern, right? You see that right there? So that kind of effect could happen with this latest X flare. All right, this is not the imagery from it. This is the imagery from the old one. Okay, but this is an example of the trajectory. All right, see here when we're looking down and it came out this way. Well, it's rotated more over this direction now. So our blast over on this one now, where my cross is, or where this pointer is, should be going more up in the trajectory of this, like this. All right, so when we're looking down on the solar system, imagine seeing a blast in this direction coming off like this. So put this shock wave over here for our latest one. And see how it still kind of hooks planet Earth right there? So I have the feeling this is going to our next, this X4, 4.5 when it comes in, could be very similar, going north like this, and then also this same direction, but on this one. Not so much in this, but more at the, what am I trying to say? 2 o'clock position. That's what I'm trying to say. 2 o'clock position. So our blast wave, instead of coming out at what, 3:30 or almost 4 o'clock there, will be coming out at the 2 o'clock position and also coming out north like that as well. So I believe we will probably get clipped by the edge of it. All right. And that, well, it would really be nice if we could see the other imagery off the other satellite, because then we might be able to tell how fast it's going to get here. X flares have a tendency to move a little faster than our average CME. Okay, so if it was a good blast, let's see if we can get a nice movie out of this thing right here. There we go. Oh, this. Oh, wait. Go back. I want to see that again. Oh. All right, let's play this another time or two here. Real or cartoon? This image or no, I guess you're talking about something else. All right, so our latest X4.5. That whole region's been crackling and snapping and popping, and there it goes. All right, so one more time for people who just got in here. Our latest X4.5. All right, so the image, real or cartoon? Elia Buchanan? Which image are you talking about? Let's see if it goes up any further. Okay, cool. Anyways, back to report. I was just commenting to somebody in the chat. Now, what I'm concerned about is we have this big sunspot, right? It's been kicking out all these X flares. We got an X4.5 that just came off. Now, let's talk about the BZ component has been tipped south at a -10 for several hours. Let's hope this BZ component realigns before impact of this CME. All right, so that could be a huge geomagnetic storm bringing auroras to mid latitudes. Also, when we're looking at this, I want you to think absorption. We've already seen a lot of big volcanic blasts just recently, up to 65 and 41,000 feet. We've seen the uptick just lately in the earthquakes because of the pressure down below. I showed you the Schumann that was grinding now because of the pressure down below. When all this gets absorbed in as well, we are going to be in for one bumpy road. I'm telling you, the earth was going to react from underneath with some big burps coming up to the surface. Okay, they're big burps of pressure. When all this energy translates down to the core heats up and swells, and then the magma around it. This is what we're talking about. That magma around the core, that heat translates into the magma. The magma then expands as well. It wants to expand outward, but it can't because the crust is there holding it in. So we got pressure trying to get out through the crust in all directions, north, south, east, west, every direction outward, and only a few little spots that's releasing pressure. All right. When this energy right here gets absorbed down there and we swell up from down below, we're going to see a huge reaction in our volcanoes, in our earthquakes, in our weather. All right, so this is bad news in a few days here. All right, this is kind of why I'm reporting on it now. I'm not trying to tell you it's bad news. I'm just telling you, prepare. It's going to be a bumpy ride. All this energy right here that we're looking at. Last night, I was just going to report on this chunk right here. right here, that little part, and we had an X flare. Since then, we've had this one, and now this one. So I was really concerned about, let me zoom in really quick. We were talking the other night, and we had this grouping right here. And I was like, hey, we're at max pressure. We had this grouping right here. We're going to start seeing some grinding on this human. Then we saw that. Since then, you can add on this one, this one, this one, and then, whoops, pray before you start tacking on that one. All right. I want you to think about all the energy going in this whole group right here, and then say a prayer when you add this energy onto it as well. See this? This is two hands coming together like this, praying. So, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just the bearer of reality. Okay, the real reality. And you're not going to see this or hear about this on your news or anything. But in the coming week here, don't be surprised when we see an uptick in our volcanoes, as if we haven't seen a lot of volcano activity already. But you could possibly see an uptick from what we just saw. I pretty much pray that we don't, but let's be realistic here. And we were talking the X flare potential at 50%. That's why I would really love to see the LASCO satellite and see. Actually, you know what? Let me just try something real quick here. We're going to come back over here to seeds. I got something else for you. Bingo. Okay, a few more frames. We're going into the 6th right here. That's right before our event. Actually, it looks like it got cut out. So we're starting off already at 253 UTC right here. There's 353, 4. Oh. So right here, usually this thing jumps in hour increments, okay? 253 we're missing from 353. There's 4. There's almost the semi-hour. Then it goes 423 to 453. That's only half-hour increment right there. Then to the 523. So it jumped. Oh, it's doing half-hour increments now. I get it. All right, so there's our increments. But what I wanted to talk about now that we're here, the last frame. I want the latest frame. So our latest frame here from Stereo A, even though we didn't get to see the X flare, blah, 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 what I am concerned about right now is our needles that are pointing. Are we done with this event yet? Or are there still little needles coming off the sun pointing at something else still coming? That's why I wanted to come over here, was just to peek at these, just to see if a bunch of them have gone and there's only like one little small thing, or if we're seeing big spikes, these big needles coming out of here. And remember, this is magnetic, electromagnetic. So these bodies have a magnetic field as well as the sun's magnetic field. These act like compass needles. When the magnetic field approaches this one, it pulls, more energy off the sun in these long streams. That's why those streams are there. It's not because the sun's got a hole in it and it's spewing out more in these regions. It's because there's some inbound body that's reaching magnetically out to the sun, and these things are good indicators of where, the next event or where something is coming from, or if there's more. So I want to come over here to check this action out here to see if any of these things, these spikes, were still there. And we're seeing some of the activity kind of coming out of those regions. Let me go back to yesterday, because that's not enough data. Here's what was today, the 5th. All right, here's today's activity. And you can see a little small planetoid body over here. Let me slow it down a little bit for you. And let's just do all the magic here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come back here, cowboy. All right, see that little round body right here with the plasma still around it? Maybe if we go. There we go. So we'll straighten it out and darken it then. All right, that helps a little bit. So you can see that little planetoid body moving out through the plasma here. We're not looking at this. We're watching this little sneaker right here sneaking through. All right, so also this spire, or like these needles or whatever, I like to call them spires as well, that activity came out of that one. So knock out that one. That one's gone once this activity's over. But we're still left with all of these over here. Note how long and bright this one is. Now, something may have passed further out from the sun. Not every time do these things come right up to the sun. Some of these are passing a little further out of frame, and you'll see the longer needles kind of reach way out of frame, and we'll never see anything out of it because it's so far out of the field of view of the camera. Okay. But what's in the field of view, we'll kind of take a peek right there. And this could be the outer bodies, the satellites of a bigger object coming in. That's how it usually happens, is we see the smaller bodies interact with the sun first, and then a big one moves through and snaps off a big old X flare. So I would love to see the data on all of this activity, but it's all missing right now. So, and I'll be patient. We'll see if we ever get it or not. But there's other avenues we'll have to go to if it doesn't pop up. But for right now, X4.5, this energy translates down to the core. In fact, you know what? That face right there, that is not a cartoon. That is an actual sunset. We just did the last show on that image right there, if you missed it. And if you want to see more of this is over at World of Signs channel. Go over there, subscribe, ring their bell, give them a like, all right? And this happened day before yesterday over Italy. Okay? And we talked about the spiritual report. You should have been there for it, because you can't just see this and not know about the history before it. Oh, good. That's what you were asking about. Okay. If you want to know, Elia, is it Elia? Yeah, Elia. Well, we'll figure it out. I got much more of that stuff for you, but for right now, we're covering this stuff right now. There's your impact, your G3 or your R3 radio blackout hitting all of Russia, Saudi Arabia, that whole area. So if they're trying to do any military activities right now, I bet you they're having problems with their propagation of their signals in their the radios. So they might have some interference while they're trying to do some operations, and that could put operations to a halt for a minute too. They might be setting up to do this and that and turning on all the switches. Whoops, and something just fried the whole thing. Right when they turned on their switches, maybe. You never know. But look at the target area. Just kind of absorb that too. This is an absorption map. Absorb the location that got hit. And then when you think of the location that got hit and you absorb that, happening over Italy. Okay. So back to the report. See these hands praying right there? That's a pair of hands together praying on the instrument. All right, so yeah, just to touch base, and we're still coming out of it. We're still at C 8.6. All right, so this event, we're coming down from it. It's like you took a hit of acid and started to feel the effects, and then you peaked, and everything started to look like that, and then you came down, and now everything's looking more like this as you come down to C 8.6. All right. Kind of talked you down from that in the report earlier tonight. Okay. when we were doing the reading, we were on the down slope of that, being peaceful. All right. You guys having fun with this or what? Don't let them steal your joy. Fear is false evidence appearing real. This is real evidence, and it should not faze you. If you don't want it to faze you, here, look at this. Elia, come here. I want you to see something. You saw that face in the clouds? This is a face in the clouds too, and it's real. It's not a cartoon. Tilt your head to the right. You got Jesus with his hair flown back wearing a crown. Put your head more straight up, and you can see the lion face with the nose. And see, there's spiritual warfare going on here, folks, and it's taking place. You can see it happening in your skies if you could look up from your phone. That's why we're doing all this spiritual work too. We're breaking you of that phone habit, so you'll look up every once in a while, teaching you to use that sucker to take images of the sky instead of texting while you're driving. How about that? Anyways, back to our target region. They're probably having a little bit of technical difficulties at the time. Somebody just poured water on the component board, the keyboard or something. And then this image over here, we have what's going on over Italy. Somebody's not too happy with the country of Italy. When we look at this, let me just say, this is not a good omen. When you have that showing up in the clouds over your country, or would you rather have that showing up in the clouds over your country? Anyways, back to the report. Pretty interesting stuff that's going on here. You need to pray. See, it looks like hands praying. That's why I say that. All this energy right here, when we absorb this, this is 2 days ago. So, well, 1, 2, no, day after tomorrow. Right. So this is yesterday. So 1, 2. Tomorrow we'll start seeing some of this impact here, I think. And they're calling for over here already the 6th are G2. And I'm saying this zero, this is going to change. That's definitely going to change, I believe. It all depends on the speed of this mess. You see how close these together? These could cannibalize or merge. Those ones could merge. There's a little separation there. And another thing we're also experiencing in between these waves, sometimes when they stack up, imagine, okay, we're going to put the earth right on this side as my hand, all right? And that's the energy moving this way towards my hand, all right? So that's the first impact, that whole thing, this thing, and this will be the last impact, right? So it's all moving, this wave of energy moving towards our earth, which would be my hand right here. So when these come at the earth, sometimes they'll separate. There'll be a magnetic barrier in between this stack up. Say this forms one little cluster or merges together, cannibalizes, but then there'll be a magnetic separation between this next grouping. Or there'll be a pulse of these three, a small pulse here, and then a pulse with these two. This one will catch up with this. Or, we never know, this big one might have come out so big that it comes and shoves all that together and piles it up before that makes it to the earth. Can you see what I'm saying? If the snowplow came from, say, this side and pushed everything this way towards the earth, if that's going really fast, it could catch up and push all that stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how all of this separates, stacks up, cannibalizes, does what it does before impact on the earth. All right, so again, you see these hands praying. These are real prayers, okay? Know that when you're praying, it is heard. When you're sincere. Another thing about praying is the sincerity. You know, it's not our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, that monotone just... No. Jesus, please help me. Give me strength to understand what's going on. Please tell me this is true. I want this to be my foundation, my rock. I want this to be true because I'm afraid this could be true too. Right? Well, they're both true. You're seeing side effects happening here on the earth. Let's see the eyes in there. It's not pareidolia. They're actually in there. That's God's handiwork in the sky. All right? You can tell this isn't a blue beam. Why would blue beam make it in a realm where you can't see it? Unless you have spiritual eyes. Okay? Like this stuff, for instance. If I just showed you one single picture and didn't tell you what was in it and just showed you one frame of this, all you would see was clouds. It's not until you tilt your head and you see this face of Jesus right here turning into a lion face. That's an event that happened on Easter of 2020. That should make you jump out of your skin right there. But it should make you feel secure too. That, hey, now I know. All right. This, you've been raptured. Okay. The word rapture is not in the Bible. What it talks about is being caught up with Jesus in the clouds, right? Now everybody envisions being lifted up into the clouds and meeting some dude floating in the air. It does not say that in the Bible. It says you will be caught up with him in the clouds. Well, here he is in the clouds, and you are looking at it, mesmerized. You're caught up in the moment. You're caught up with me in the clouds. Okay? Then you're meeting me in the air, the cyberspace of YouTube. What other way could you describe that as other than meeting me in the air? So if you're here and you see this image and you're caught up by this image and you're listening to my voice right now and seeing this, you're caught up with me in the air. We are doing spiritual work here, spiritual warfare, okay? And we're back to our layer absorption. Look at the region it just hit right there. Okay, so there's your chart. We're still coming out of this X flare. No telling what's going to happen next. All right? X flare potential still 50%. Okay, this bad boy 3663. Let me get its latest location. Give me this. This one will help right here. Right here, this big bad boy. Can I zoom in on this utensil, please? I guess that's the best we get. This whole region, snap, crackle, pop, okay, bunch of sunspots all crisscross. Remember the magnetic complexity we saw a couple weeks ago where it could jump from this one to that one or that one to this one, any kind of tic-tac-toe maneuver? Well, there's your rash, your patch, all right, and it's still in this quadrant. We still got a minute or two until it rounds the limb over here. Thankfully, it's not lower because it would take even longer to round the limb. The higher up it is on the ball, the sooner it'll leave. See what I'm saying? So thankfully, it's up higher in this region, not so low. So it'll be out of here sooner. But we need to watch this sucker as it goes around the backside because lately these things have survived the backside and come back around to haunt us again. And over here, they're showing plaque. So they're already detecting something here on the edge. I usually don't use this instrument too often, except when we got these magnetic complexities. And then look at this down here. This is no joke either. 3664. Let me go back real quick. I think it's a beta delta, or is it beta delta? Yeah, beta delta. Okay, good. Okay, it's the gamma configuration. If it went beta gamma instead of beta delta, I'd be a little more concerned. Well, actually, no, sorry, it's the other way around. It's the delta configuration that I'm worried about. If it was just beta gamma, it wouldn't be too bad, but it's beta delta. So back to this image again here. So the positioning of this, we got a couple more days for it. Remember, we are magnetically, our IMF line is connected to like this part of the sun. We're below the hemisphere. We're in the southern part of the hemisphere of the sun as we back out. So we're not dead even across. So we're a little further lower. So this stuff, when it blows up that way, we're still down at this angle, but we're so far back that the blast radius as it expands is going to hit us, especially if we can see it. There's center disk, right? There's center disk right there. I'll let you be the judge. And there's the limb. So it's halfway between center and the limb. So that's, not the best location. It's still within range is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. What was that little movie we had again? Give me this full screen, please. Thank you. All right. Here we go again real quick with this movie. You see how it's not just it's flickering. It's not just pumping out like one and then another and then another. This whole sunspot's just been snap, crackle, popping, flickering, almost like a candle flickering kind of. Yes, a battle of principalities. It truly is. Okay, so just had to kind of rehash this stuff real quick, and then, I see all 20 of you made it back. So, yeah, just real quick coverage on that, whoopsie. Keep thinking that was YouTube. Of this X4.5 now. Major flare coming our direction. Also, let's do the D layer again. Let me back this up just a tad. Put it right before our X flare and hit play. So this is our X4.5 hitting right about there. Now see how it kind of fluctuated as it blossomed up, and then it takes a while to dim away. That wasn't just a quick impulsive bang, quick red spot. that was more of a longer duration absorption event there. And you know me and absorption, I'm a stickler for absorption because this translates down to heat and expansion down below the crust. And we're going to see repercussions from all this energy being, hitting the planet and being absorbed by it as well. And if we have a BZ component that's negative 10, oh no, that's the wrong time to be having that. So I bet a lot of this radiation, if we're having a crack in our magnetic field at the time, I bet because, when this hits with a weak magnetic field, we take in even more absorption. So, all right, Chris T made it. One more time right here, and we'll kind of freeze frame it on the big old boing. I think that's about its maximum, don't you? Yeah, that was it right there. So this whole region in a pretty intense R3 radio blackout. Well, it dissipated now, but that was the impact zone. Okay, from our 4.5. Okay, so I'll let you guys take a little vote for a second. And you can vote on if you want me to keep covering this or if you want to go back into the spiritual stuff and see more of that. I'll be right back in a second. I got to check on a cat. And hey, Brian, what's the wave anomalies doing now? Yeah, we can check in on that too. I'll open up Venture Sky. Meant to check that earlier tonight. I've been so busy that it is not funny anymore. Oh, I guess I got to do it this way. Venture Sky, there it is. Nope, not now. Now let me open up that real quick. And we can go check on wave anomalies here. Also weather. This is a good instrument to get familiar with. All of these wonderful little tools on the side here. Okay, so for the moment though, let me put this on the radar real quick. Let's see what our storms are doing. Okay, so there's our current activity right now. But northern Alabama, Mississippi, back that way real quick. All right. The thunderstorms, you can check your helicity and stuff like that. So over here, what we did is we went to C, and it says significant wave height. Let me back out so you can see. And we can put it over this region right here where we've seen our activity. And don't be surprised we see it somewhere else on this map too. It's happened several times here, but it could happen somewhere else. So what we can do is I can put this a couple days back to the 4th. Are we at the 4th here? Yeah. And today's the 6th. So while I go let the cat in real quick here, I'm going to hit play on this. And if you guys see anything during the time I'm gone, take note of the timestamp. Here, kitty, where did you go? Oh, man. All right, give me a couple seconds here. Well, 1 minute here, and I'll be right back. Where did he go? Okay. Probably nothing there, huh? All right. Then, did you guys vote on what you want to see? More spiritual stuff or this for a little bit longer? We could pick out more stuff to read, or we could do Q&A. It's kind of your time right now, so you guys think of what you want to see, and I'll pull it up and we'll do it. Meantime, we could take a look at this. Let's see here, looking at what happened in relation to the big orange area. Okay, we covered the anomalies. Yeah, and we're at C 8.6, so we just came out of M level. All right, we're dropping down into the C range right now, which is good. So we're coming down off of this 4.5 that we had there, right there. And again, came out of this region up here, 3663, still within range. Okay, so we might see an earthbound component of this. Probably will, because it's not clear over here at the limb, even though it blasted upwards and we're down lower. It's still going to sideswipe us, I believe. And like we said, the last time we saw, they were predicting a G1, and we got hit with a G3. It surprised, right? So, and it was similar to this, just clipping us. Here, let me play this one more time. Once this loads up, I think we pretty much covered this, but one more time. So this is not our CME. This is the one that's due to hit today. All right. It's going a little north of us. It's still clipping us. All right. This one came out at this angle at 4 o'clock. This next one's going to come out at a 2 o'clock angle, much like this one in the direction like this. And you see how the tail of this still clips right here if it were going that way. All right. So I believe that's what our trajectory could possibly be by the location of the sunspot. You see how I'm doing this, right? It's at that angle right there, kind of spitting out this way, like if it were this one, but coming off this instrument instead. So pretend this wave is coming off this instrument and this instrument at the same time. So I believe that a similar event like that is what we'll see out of this X4.5 when it makes impact. You got to remember there's other stuff lined up in front of it. So we might see cannibal CMEs, 1, 2, 3 colliding, and then this thing finally at the end brushing us. Because remember, when we look at this chart, another way of looking at this is pretend the Earth is over on this line and all this is coming from the sun at us. And here's impact right here. So we got this thing due to hit us here soon, G2, and then a little break. And then right after that, whatever this cannibalizes into one, we get a magnetic boundary between them, a BZ component. And then we get a single one or all three in another blast. So we could get one with a magnetic barrier, another one with a magnetic barrier, and then another one. All right. So we could possibly see 3 earthbound components coming in our direction back to back to back. All right. So there's that. Now, back to the chat. Did anybody kind of decide on what they wanted to see or have any other questions? Or I know this is delayed by a few minutes, so I'm just I just wanted to know, it's amazing how much better healing adjusting from mom got hip replacement. Oh, I need a hip replacement too. It's now life. New reconnected adjustment. Oh, I need a double hip replacement. One of these days, maybe. But in the meantime, thank God this thing's kind of waning away. Let's pray that this little event is over for the moment. we still have, please, can we come back to this one? This component down here, whether this fires off or over on this side still, and this spire sticking off is pointing at something coming at. All right, that's why it's important we have all the data here so we can see, what's still remaining here to possibly affect, after this X flare. So, this is one of the X flares, the small one. So I need to know it's coming out of this region. So it probably came off like this side over here, a big old spheroid or something. Probably came out of this region right here. And if you think about it this way, this sunspot that everything's coming out of is pointing at an object out there. That object is causing it to crackle. And instead of it passing us, what if we're passing by it? All right. So if you think if maybe we're passing through the moons that are around a bigger body that's right out here, we're approaching it, interfacing with the moons around it. And then as we go by it, it flares up and wham, we go by it. And we see the crackling and stuff happening. So when this thing rotates around the sun, maybe that's the position of it. It's behind us right now. And as it rotates around by the sun, we'll see it interact with the sun as we pass by it, possibly. All right. If we're dealing with an object, I'll come back to this real quick here. It's going to hurt your brain a little bit, so remember your foundation. Okay, you see the size of this object right here. You can see the three-dimensional effect as plasma comes off the sun, strikes this object, bends, and goes over it. All right, this big black circular mass. Now, let me pull back out of this real quick. Well, actually, we can just do this. You see the occulter. I think you're all familiar with the occulter and how it works. It's on the camera. This white circle represents the size of the sun, not the black occulter. That's not the sun. This white circle is the sun. This covers it so it doesn't blind the camera. Okay, so when you're looking at this image now, this isn't the sun. The little tiny circle inside here compared to that thing is the comparison size. Capiche? Comprende? Catorce? Okay, and that's what draws those spires off. And if there's little things orbiting around this, if this thing is bigger than our sun, maybe we're orbiting it instead of it orbiting our sun. See what I'm saying? So our whole solar system might be orbiting around this little solar system, right? Not little, but whatever system here with this big thing at the center and these other little moons that are around it. Imagine this is its own like solar system, and we're passing by and going between Mercury and the sun. Say this is their sun and this is their Mercury, and our sun went in between their sun and their first outer body. See what I'm saying there? So maybe it's not passing by us, we're going past it. It's a central point in space, and we pass it on one side, whip around, and then pass it on the other side, and we see it over on this side one time. And that explains why sometimes we see it here, sometimes we see it there, because of our approach to it. Okay? Laws of physics say anything that has more mass than our sun, anything that's bigger than our sun, well, we should be rotating around it right? Right? Anybody paying attention here? Now when it's in smaller form, maybe you can see it again. Okay, and that's just one example right there. It's one of the best images captured of it right there. Okay, and what we're talking about fits the definition of a black hole. Okay, what you guys need to understand is Hollywood and Disney and schools taught you that a black hole was like a tear in the fabric of space time, like it was this magical portal or hole in the space time continuum, like Star Trek or whatever. No, 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 no. Take an astrophysics class, you'll understand that a black hole is a super dense spheroid. It's a spheroid that got so dense because it's a star. It's the burned out remnants, it's the core of a dead star. Squeezed down, all that mass squeezed down into a spheroid. Okay? Our sun is so big compared to our planet, right? Well, our sun is tiny compared to other suns out there, all right? Just as our planet is small in comparison to our sun is small in comparison to other ones out there. This one right here, this is just a core. Imagine how big this star was when it was a star. It collapsed down to its core, and this core is so dense. Okay, you can't go through it. It's bulletproof. It's super, super dense. All right. If you tried to go through it, it has so much gravity it would like suck you towards it, and then you would smash into the surface, and the gravity of it's so strong you would just blend right into the surface. Some of these other cores that are orbiting this thing, when they slam into it, they just mold into the smooth round spheroid because it's so dense. It just squeezes it right down to the surface and smashes everything, and it collects more mass. The more it eats, the more massive it gets. It's like a big vampire, right? And it's magnetically connected. It sucks off plasma off our sun, okay? And it's so dense, it has so much mass that it bends and absorbs light, okay? You know what that is? That's light, right? It's plasma, it's light. Is it bending? Do you see this thing bending light? Okay. It's much like a invisible table. You cannot see an invisible table because it's invisible. But when you throw a tablecloth over it, it paints the contour. It shows the edges, the corners, right? And it paints the contour of something that's invisible. So I'm showing you how to see the invisible. There's your black hole right there. And when they show you, oh, NASA's got pictures of black hole. Well, no, they don't. Well, they do. But they're not telling you it's this thing. Okay? This fits the definition of like a neutron star. It's probably squeezed out all the electrons and protons and squeezed down to just neutrons. Those neutrons line up and they file in an order, and they get squeezed down so densely. One little teaspoon of this matter would weigh more than our planet. All right. The dark matter that they're looking for is right here. You can't see it because it doesn't reflect light. It's dark matter. Dark matter isn't in the form of an atom. It's in the form of mass. This is what I call a condensate. It's much like water has condensated. The more gravity it has, the more it eats, right? The more it sucks in, and the more it sucks in that blends in with it, the stronger its gravity field gets, right? So this thing just turns into a runaway eating machine, like a black hole. All right. The event horizon, well, I think we're looking at us interacting with a black hole. We're in the event horizon. We're seeing all this volcanic activity. We're seeing the wild weather. There was an old documentary a long time ago. I wish I could find it again. What would happen if you got sucked into the event horizon of a black hole? And they said, well, you start seeing all these earthquakes and volcanoes and wild weather and this cool little documentary. I can't find it anymore. It used to be in my bookmarks that got all taken away. But anyways, now we're seeing all those side effects because we're interacting with a super massive object here with a lot of mass. It's obviously bending light. It's black. We can't see it because it doesn't reflect light. When sunlight comes down from the sky, it hits the ground, bounces off the ground, and goes in your eye. That's how you're able to see the ground, by the light reflecting off the ground. If the ground was so dense and absorbed the light, you wouldn't be able to see the ground you're standing on because the ground would absorb the light. It wouldn't reflect back. All right. This thing's so massive that light can't escape from it, right? When they say a black hole, light can't escape from it, that means light can't reflect off of it. It sucks the light right back in, right? It's so massive that it absorbs light. When this plasma hits it, it hits it with so much that some goes over, splashes and goes over and drapes around and bends light. Okay. And then these things also, when they interact, well, we'll get into some of the sun halos someday. These things have passed between the sun and us and created a sun halo out in space. Now, a sun halo that we see here on Earth is generated by the particulates in the air. If there is a vacuum of space, we shouldn't see a sun halo in space. But one was captured by NASA. That link is gone too. But that effect has happened, and it's because when these things get between the sun and it bends light around it and produces a focal point on the backside, all right, appearing to be see-through as well. So it's called gravitational lensing, and we use it with like massive galaxies. We can use the gravitation of a massive galaxy to magnify the light behind it. All right. So it'll take the light behind it, bend it around the galaxy, and bring it to a focal point right in the middle, making it appear as the galaxy's here when it's on the backside of a supermassive thing, magnifying glass. All right. So gravity can magnify also. All right. So light would hit it, go around it, and refocus on the backside, making it appear as a halo with light around the edges and light in the center, just like our sun halos, but one captured out in space. Thankfully, I did a video on it on my channel one time, so I'll have to go back and at least find that video. And I have some kind of reference of it, but the link is gone now, so. But there's some astrophysics for you, all right? Now, magnets also repel. We have a magnetic field that's charged up on this sun, right? If the sun wasn't very strong and its magnetic field was weak, we would slam into it. But we get a repulsive effect. When you put two magnets together that don't want to be together, they repulse each other. So they get right up close to each other, and then at the last minute repulse each other. That repulsion pulls the plasma off, causing our CME to rip off of there. It's also like an electric discharge too. Okay, you put two hot wires, a positive and a negative, really close to each other, finally a spark will jump across from one to the other. And this is the same effect too, electrically. A spark is jumping in the form of plasma, that's your spark, jumping from the hot star to this cold, well, probably cold. It might be warm. You might be able to see it in infrared, maybe not, because it's so dense it doesn't emit. Well, it might emit infrared. We'll see. But that's your supermassive object right there. And that's the same one I showed you the other night that showed up 13 days before the Revelation 12 sign. Now, the Revelation 12 sign is a celestial signpost. That means if you're in this part of space, you will see this configuration on this day. So we saw that star configuration on that day. That means we're in a certain part of space. Our perspective, when we looked up, it looked back and told us our trajectory in where we were in space. It's a celestial signpost. The Revelation 12 alignment was a celestial signpost. This showed up. We passed this object or interacted with this object in one of the moons, Nibiru, it looked like, okay, back on September 10th of 2017. 13 days before the Revelation 12 sign. And it says the dragon stood in front of the woman. It stood before the woman. Well, it stood 13 days before the woman. It's another celestial signpost. It said there were two signs in Revelation 12. The first was a wondrous sign, the woman in heaven. When we saw that, that should have made the whole world hiccup, or, swallow really hard. But nope, they ignored it and started looking for the dragon, because in the Revelation it says, then another sign appeared, a great red dragon. Well, it makes it sound like it happened after the star alignment, but you read on, it says the dragon stood in front of the woman. So this is the dragon to devour the child. It's a black hole. It devours the child. Then we come back over here to here. No. We come back to this image down here. Everybody take a nice, long, deep breath. Everything's going to be okay. You got to have faith. Okay? It's a spiritual battle going on with you. All right, no, we don't need to do that. We can come over here and sneak around the page for a minute, huh? Pretty cool when these things interact and bend light, and you can have more than one rainbow at a time. And see how these rainbows are way out of, you can see a double. Here's the one double rainbow that we're kind of used to seeing. And all these others back in here. This is almost a triple right here. Now, imagine if, let's go back to this image right here. Again. Now, first, when we're looking at these halos, this triple halo, you see our regular rainbow. Now, what if there was a sun behind our sun that was bigger? You would see a rainbow cast by our sun, and then you would see a rainbow cast by another sun if there was one behind us. And if there was another object that was back behind this one that was even bigger, well, it would cast another rainbow out here, but it'd be dark in that area, right? Let's pull this up a little bit better. There we go. So, rainbows from the sun, maybe rainbow from Nibiru, and then the third one back there would be a rainbow from a bigger object back behind the sun. It's almost as if you're looking at the objects themselves, one behind another, and they're bending the light. See that? Causing this light to bend. And this is light that's coming out of space. It's striking the water particles in the air. So if you projected, instead of light coming out in a round effect, say if you projected light in a square, and you would see a square rainbow, right? So our thing is projecting light out in circles. So we get arc-shaped rainbows or 22-degree. But see how it's bending light and making these other rainbows? So if you're projecting light with another thing behind it, with light behind that, it will leave a rainbow on your other object, and this one, we're almost seeing a reflection of what's being cast onto the water droplets. You guys want to see a dead rattlesnake? No. That's mean. We looked at this. This is a Planet X with supposedly some kind of scar on it. Now, if you think about this, if you were... Whoa, go back. No. That's not the one I wanted. Just pause right there. If you're one of these moons outside of this thing, right? And this thing's sucking in all kinds of solar systems and devouring all kinds of planetary cores, and you were a moon out here and there's all sorts of stuff approaching this, something's bound to slam into that and cause a big old X or kind of scar effect from an impact. Okay. There's a lion face right there in the clouds. 2 eyes, nose. You can see his little whiskers. All right, so there's that image. Here's a better shot of it right there, I think. Yeah, there we go. It's a little. You tilt your head to the left, maybe 10 degrees. You can see a little bit better. Okay, so these are real events happening in your clouds. When you look up, you just see clouds, but when you start understanding what's really going on up there, you're going to be a little shocked, all right? And it's important that you pray when you go out in it, okay? Because when you leave the house, you are out in it. All this stuff is out there all the time. Now, this image right here, is this the video? Oh, I don't have the video. All right, on September 10th, I think you can see the, wait, maybe the next one has the date in it. Nope, sorry. On September 10th, when we had the interaction with the black hole and Nibiru and Nemesis, this is what our sun looked like. This event, something came from the left, covered up the sun for about an hour. And then instead of leaving this way and exposing this side of the sun, so something moved in from the left, blocked the sun for like an hour, and then moved up like that. And as it was moving up, it revealed the bottom part of the sun to right about here. And then in the next frame, it revealed the rest of the sun. It was right here, and the rest was dark. And the next frame, the very next frame, when you click on this instrument, the next click was the sun all the way up. This image, when I was messing with the instrument, I was seeing if there was a halfway line. It was only here or all the way up. Those were the 2 data images that were available on this instrument. Somehow, when I was trying to see in between, okay, there's frame 26 and frame 27. Here's 26, all the way up was 27. So there was no in between. And I was looking for the in between, and this image popped up on my computer and scared the shit out of me. It scared me so much that I just froze, and I just went, oh, I better just take some pictures of it. So I grabbed my cell phone and squeezed off some pictures that were on my screen at the time. And that is what your son looked like on the day of September 10th, 2017, when we had this interaction. What was the one video we did that on? Oh, I know. Would you guys like to see the video where this transfers? Sure, we'll go here. Help me, Lord, again. When would we do that one on? Oh, it was a Halloween one? Yeah, that's it right there. Okay, so I put a Halloween music, the theme to Halloween to this for Halloween. I posted this video on Halloween. This is a spooky little reminder. Hey, you want to see something really scary? I'll show you something. You think jack-o'-lanterns and stuff are scary. Wait until you see this face on the sun. Do you see the face there already? Okay, good. So what I'm going to do now, put on the spooky music, and we're going to play lightly in the background this video. All right, it's a lot of data, so it's going to run its course here for a minute. Wait, let me better position here. Well, I guess that was better position, man. This was a X-flare that comes out of this region right here. His corner of his mouth there was the X-flare that started all of this. Now, did you see that? And it stays there for a long time. That was an hour and 15 minutes. And that's what was captured in between. All right, one more time here, it blacks out. Think. Well, here we'll go back to that spot, right? See those two frames? All right, enough of the spooky music. But you see that there were two frames. The partial one and then all the way up. How this popped on my computer, well, spiritual. I'm telling you, this is spiritual warfare that we're dealing with here, okay? And that's what you're saying. Why are these sunspots still lit up while there's a shadow going up? That's a real face, you guys. There was another sign in the sun that nobody noticed on that day. All right, actually two. This sign and then the half face sign right there. See how it's illuminated from below? And our other face, oh, I used this channel. The other face in the clouds was illuminated from below. Okay. So there was that. Yeah, you can go over here to the ISWA site. I think still has it, and you can type in September 10th, 2017 on the little calendar, and you can see this event right here. And nothing was said. Nobody noticed this big old evil face on the sun. Actually, there were some nasty hurricanes that day, and everybody was looking at that instead. So there was a proper distraction, so you didn't notice what was going on the sun. All right, so back to this, and we'll back out of that. And no. Let's go back to the menu here. It's that one. Can you see the wolf right there with his eyes and his ears? Let's go zooming in. And you can see his mouth and he's blowing out these clouds. There's his nose, his eyes, and his ears. Okay. Stuff's going on in your storms. There's cloud coverage like this, and a tornado's about to form right here at the base of the tornado. Like when we're storm chasing, I see these guys storm chasing, and they're looking at the tornado, and there's this giant face right there huffing and puffing and blowing a tornado at the ground. You guys wouldn't, it's the craziest stuff. If you only knew. Well, now you do. So when you're seeing wild weather, look up. You might and some of these are so big in the sky that they're kind of beyond your sight. You really have to squint hard and almost kind of blur your eyes a little bit to see these bigger. It's like in a bigger dimension than you're used to seeing. And then it eventually turned into, is it that one right there? Whoops, where it has the, no, it's not that one. It's this one right there. Okay. And that's the one we've seen many times. Okay. Eye, the nose, the ear. Here's the lips. He's huffing and puffing and blowing your house down. There we go. All right. So to give you some ideas, give you those ways of looking at the clouds now, so you'll start to understand and see it yourself. Okay. It's not pareidolia. It's really, really real. I don't know. You be the judge of that. What do you think that is? And look how far it dropped down. Whoops. Can we get one zoom in there? So I can pull it. Yeah. See up here in the, whoops, pull it down. See up here in the corner how far it dropped down out of the cloud bank just to make a face. All right. So when this stuff starts happening in the sky around you, you won't be so shocked. You will understand what's going on. Everybody else is going to be losing their minds. And you're going to be holding on to your foundation going, oh, thank you, Brian. Thank you. I see why you did that. Now I see why it's so important that we know this little character. I got the little 5-6 frames of him lifting his eyebrows at you. You see the eye right here? There's actually two eyes. There's an inner eye, and then there's an outer eye, a bigger eye too. They're multiple dimensions. Let's see if we can play with this one just a tad. And then this eye has a slit in it. It's like cat eye or something. And he reminds me of the character that sits on Jabba's lap, like the little rodent type character or whatever. All right. And there's giant eyes in the clouds too that are watching you. A lot of these faces, I haven't got a good example here to show you, or do I? Some of these faces start off as like two teardrop symmetrical clouds across from each other. They're well, that's not a good example, but you'll see two clouds that are almond shaped, right across from each other, looking like a set of eyes. When you see like a that in the sky, look around for the matching nose and the mouth. Um, what I was trying to capture is they've been doing this unique thing where there will be a mountain under the ground, or down below the cloud here, and the bottom part of the face will be incorporated with the mountain. So you'll see the eyes and the nose peeking over the mountain, and then the terrain of the mountain actually makes the rest of the face. It's amazing when you see them blend together, the sky blending with the mountains, making a new face out of both blended in one. When I capture it, it'll twist your melon, as if this stuff doesn't twist your melon already. Okay, so let's go to that one. All right, this bulldog type character that we keep seeing here. An eye. Actually, it's better when it's in smaller format, because these are compressed now, and you can see the round face here a lot better when you've pulled back. They're in another dimension, so that's why they're hard to see. They're so big in your face. You need to pull back in order to see these. And if they were made by Harp or Bluebeam, why would they make them in a realm that you can't see, in a dimension that pulled back out of your perception that you can't see? Here's the Grinch right here. I showed you the Grinch turning into the dragon. I see him growing horns here. And then right there, that image right there is a good one of the dragon. Right there's another good image of the dragon. Okay. Speaking of the dragon. You guys like this stuff better than the astrophysics and the solar stuff, so we're doing it. That one. Okay, this one's titled Happy Easter, but it happened the day before. Okay, so I had to process this video and stuff, and when I posted it the next day, it was on Easter, so I titled it Happy Easter. So this is the event that took place before Jesus in the clouds there. Okay. Let's get to the meat. Here that I have from my spirit videos, and it's what I call like the etherical realm. And I want you to look right here at this dot and this dot. This is a set of eyes. I'm going to pull it over a little bit. We're going to zoom in. Here's the mouth, the eyes, the face, the horns of a dragon. I'll pull back a little bit. I'll zoom in. Can you see the dragon? Right there's good. Whoops. And then as I pan back, and then as I pan back, right there. All right. You can see his eye here, his eye there, the nostrils, the mouth is open. Here's the flange around the sides of the head. You can see the horns coming off of it. Dragons are real. Yeah. And there it is right there, showing up the day before Easter, okay, in this cloud structure. All right, I showed you here. Let's go zoom into it again. So it's representing whatever ship or object is causing this condensation in the clouds, causing whatever cloaking device they use or is causing condensation and this ring-shaped cloud. All right. In front of that ring-shaped cloud right here is that dragon face, kind of showing who represents or who's representing this. There's other faces in there as well up here, bigger ones. Is represented by the dragon, I guess. Okay, here I've zoomed in on it. Now, I'm going to point out something here that I have from my spirit videos, and it's what I call like the etherical realm. And I want you to look right here at this dot and this dot. This is a set of eyes. Right there is good, I think. Let's, there we go. Now you can see the full face of it right there with the horns and everything. All right. So that realm is real. The dragon and the devil, all that's real. Okay. You see it right here. Electromagnetically imprinted on the picture. Okay. It's not part of the clouds, it's in the etherical. It's electromagnetically imprinted on this picture. I didn't do that. I didn't put that on there. And when I saw that, plus all the activity that had been happening to me already. Now, my son took this picture. I went into the store. They're laughing at me with all the activity, right? They're like, Dad, it's crazy. These UFOs follow you everywhere. What's going on? And I'm like, well, it's because of who I am. And they're like, oh, yeah, pretty crazy stuff being your son. Go, okay, I'm going to run into the store. I'm running into the store, come out. He says, Dad, there a UFO dropped right out of the sky in the clouds while you were in there. I took some pictures of it. And these are the pictures that he took. And after kind of just going through them and looking around, I saw a good old dragon there. So, very interesting to know that this entity, for lack of a better term, is real. Okay, and let's just play it a little bit more. For a little bit. Oh, there we go. We're going to zoom in. Here's the mouth. Sorry. The eyes, the face, the horns of a dragon. I'll pull back a little bit. And I'll zoom in. Can you see the dragon? You guys might want to check your own pictures. Okay, when you're taking pictures, you might want to look a little deeper into them. Just because you didn't capture something in the clouds doesn't mean you didn't capture something in the etherical. All right. So when I showed you the etherical stuff, the Mary and the angels showing up on electromagnetically imprinted on the security camera, and then this activity taking place in the clouds, here we have both in one. Here we have the etherical electromagnetic imprint on the image, and then we also captured the activity in the clouds at the same time. So we got both in one image. And this happened on Easter, or the day before Easter. And when we pull back here to the very beginning, dropping out of the sky. And I had run into the store and this appeared. And he said, Dad, this thing looked like it was dropping out of the sky. So I took a picture of it for you. So as I looked at this, I noticed something. And I'm going to start pointing stuff out here. As I zoom in, clearly see the ring. It looks like we have what's a saucer-shaped cloud with this nice little white ring and everything. But back behind it, I see a darker black circle. A stellar core, what looks like a stellar core right here, this black circle, is penetrating the atmosphere and causing this cloud to form, this halo-shaped cloud. Like condensation, okay, when the magnetic field causes the water droplets in the air to condense, and then you get this UFO-shaped cloud that actually has a UFO in it, okay? So not only did we capture the etherical, the activity in the cloud, but we captured a UFO as well, all right? This activity is over our mountain. You see this mountain underneath right here? That's our same mountain as this one. Same mountain at, whoops. Same mountain as this one, all right? So that UFO showed up the day before this event. And this happened on Easter. Okay, so now you kind of know what's going on. And you're seeing it. The evidence that's unseen. It's how do I explain it? It's like the unseen realm. It's the evidence that's unseen. But what makes it evidence if it's unseen? Well, you're now seeing it. Okay? So the unseen evidence is now being seen. The faith is being taken to knowing. You are raptured. You have this new way of thinking in you because now you know your faith has been completed, hasn't it? So there's your foundation right there. That's why we keep showing this to you. Okay. And I'm showing you the stuff that led up to it too. This is not a fake event. That's why you got to get that into your head. It's not a fake event. None of these are. This is all real stuff that happened to me ever since September 10th. Where's that dude with the eyebrows? I have him in here somewhere. Oh, he's in with goblins? No, he's in here somewhere. There he is. Remember this guy? He's like lifting his eyebrows or scowling or something. That's the wolf turning into the, okay, I put all those images in a flip book. So a lot of these faces morph and change into something else. They'll go through stages and change different faces. Oh, wish we could capture that one with the cat. Oh, it's right there. So let me go back to these ones. I want the originals from that for. Is it in this one? No, it's in the other. Oh, help me, Lord. Which one was it in? Is it in this goblin one? Yeah, there it is. What was I looking for now? I need it here. Oh, okay, yeah, here it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this down a little bit and scoot it out. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Can you see the cat right here? So, multiple faces. Yeah. Pull back just a tad bit more. All right, hopefully you guys can see the cat too. It's up above him. The mouth right here. Here's his little nose, his eyes. All right. So while you were looking at the wolf, it's part of the cat. Pretty, pretty trippy there. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. Looks like it's picking up on my. I'll let you guys look at that for a second. Wow. You didn't even know that was in there either, huh? So when you're looking at your clouds, it's not just like human faces. There are like cartoon characters, animals, dinosaurs, dragons, angels, all kinds of strange activity going on in your clouds. And if I didn't point it out, most people just look at this as a cloud. So hopefully you can see that cat right there. Pretty cool, huh? And that's your clouds. That's not me doing, well, it's not me manipulating the computer. I'm manipulating the clouds. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I forgot there was a cat in that one right there, too. So interesting how all these blend together. So that cat and that dog, it's part of the same face. See how the ear or the mouth from the cat becomes the ear of the dog? I mean, who draws that kind of stuff, right? But God, clearly God's handiwork right there. Sorry about the wavy lines at the bottom. I got it this way so we can see this cat at the top. But other stuff that's captured in the background that sometimes we don't see. We're so captivated by what's right here that it's something else. It's always part of something else. So when you're seeing something in the sky, also look deeper, broader, bigger, a bigger dimension. Okay. This is in a bigger dimension than this is. Okay. It's zoomed out further to see this than you are to see this image. And then let me do something here. I want to capture this effect as well. All right. So we're done with the cat and everything. But what I want to do is this resume? One, please. Okay. So when you're looking at the sky, you see the sky like this. It's so big and in your face that this is what the sky looks like to you. You're looking around for faces and you're seeing this. All right. So you're recording, you think, oh, maybe something right there. It's actually something right there, maybe, but it's part of something that's even bigger, which is part of something that's, well, the cat, which is even bigger. So when you're looking at your clouds, you're mainly seeing from like this perspective. You're so close and up. It's so in your face that it's hard to make out unless you go, wait a second, that looks like an eye right there. And some of these new cameras, you can actually, my camera has a thing where you can zoom out 1.8 or whatever, which helps when you're viewing this stuff. If you think you see a face in the clouds and you want to compress the image, open up your phone. Your phone takes the whole sky and compresses it down to the size of the screen on your phone. So that right there in itself compresses the image. So you can hold your phone up to the sky and look around through the viewfinder and check to see, am I tripping, or is that a big old cat in the sky? And then you look through your finder and you're like, oh yeah, it's a cat. And you take a few pictures of it, right? Let's pull up that other image that we had there. Not done with the solar stuff. And the other, well, it was the new image that we captured today. So let me just kind of go back to that one. I'm going to do a little. Yeah, I got to get to bed here pretty soon, but we'll wrap it up real quick. So we had this image right here. Also done with the coloring, three-dimensional effect with shading and the clouds. All right, more than just a more than just pareidolia. What happened with the one I just said? That better be it right there. Yeah, that's it. And it was right about here. About there. Okay, you can clearly see the nose is casting, the light's coming up from below. The nose is casting a shadow running up the face. You can see the eyes there. Let me back that up a little bit. Pause right there. Okay, you see the three-dimensional effect. There's also the two eyes over on this side over here. There's the one glowing one that matches the glowing one here, but just below it, it's glowing yellow with a cat eye, which is looking downward. You can see that this glowing yellow eye is actually kind of looking down at the ground. Then when we go like this white eye matches this white eye and it's looking at you. Actually, that's too zoomed in. We have to back out a little bit. There we go. All right, now you can see the eyes a little bit better. All right, and when you have corresponding eyes, the proportions of a face, the proportions between an eye, the tip and the nose, and the mouth, this whole is a math formula. Anybody who's ever tried to draw a face, it's hard. It's hard to draw a face. They're very difficult, especially in three dimensions. All right, to have the proportions just right, to have the eye according to the size of the nose, according to the size of the mouth, you could make either one of them out of proportion and it wouldn't look like a face. This, in order for a face to look like this, it's almost, the odds are very, very high. It's like a mathematical formula. It has to be a certain way or else it doesn't make a face. All right, so what you're looking at, the odds of that happening are just astronomical. So it's way beyond pareidolia. Okay, this is the spiritual realm happening in the sky. The Bible told you, look up, you will see stuff happening in your clouds. This is our latest capture. And this is, he's looking down at Italy, Potenza, Italy. For the people of Italy, I would get out of there. You might want to pray for the people of Italy because to me, that looks like a sign. It doesn't look like a good omen. Let's just say that much. And that was on May 3rd. Today's the 6th now. That was just a couple days ago. All right. And this is stuff that you capture in the sky. You might be thinking when you're taking the picture, you're looking at this part of the sunset going, oh, that's cool right there. That almost looks like the burning log effect right there, too, that we were talking about last night. Doesn't it? The burning log is actually the mouth of the face, probably. Interesting. Very interesting. And it's good that with this activity happening in our skies, it's good that you have this under your belt, right? Whoops, go back to our favorites. It's good to have this as your foundation, okay? So I keep showing this stuff to you so it gets embedded in your brain because we got the dragon out there. wherever I put it. Yeah, never mind. We got the these faces showing up in the sky. I've also shown you these faces growling and spitting lightning at the ground. Shall we go there again? Put it right there. What's it called? Oh. No, that one. Okay, these guys were reporting on the sound in the sky. Okay, because a guy was making weird sounds. Can we have this one, please, Lord? Thank you. Now, let me do something real quick. This is happening in another dimension. Okay, so this speed we need to double. Okay, this one's happening really slow. So if we double the speed, it'll sound more normal. Okay, so here we go. Okay, that's a real event, you guys. Let me just put it right. It's groaning and spitting lightning. You can see the face. I don't even have to point out the face. You guys have spiritual eyes to see. This event already happened. This is already taken place. All right? Now imagine this is already taking place. We have this already taking place. We have this already taking place. We have this taking place. Okay? Imagine the people of Italy look up and this thing starts growling and spitting lightning at the ground and starting fires. That would probably send those people into a panic. Right? But you have nothing to fear, okay? Because you have a foundation. So when this stuff starts going down, it's going to freak some people out. I mean, do you think? What do you think when you see this stuff? Did it kind of bother you when you first saw it? Did it kind of mess with your head a little bit when you first saw it? But the more you see it, the more you trust me, the stronger your belief gets, and now you're feeling a little more safe and secure, a little more at peace, even when we see bad times coming. Remember, I always tell you there's adversity, coming, but if you hold on tight, all right, so very important that you guys understand what's going on, and things are going to get kind of scary. So you see something like this happening in the sky next to you, you know it's not after you because you're all good. But somebody in town's in big trouble, right? So that's why you get your mind good, get your spirituality good, get spiritually strong for changes, and know that it's your Father that's doing the changes, okay? And if you're a believer, you're in good hands. But for those who hate Jesus, well, they're gonna find something very scary happening, possibly. I don't know. What do you think? I'll let you be the judge of this. Think about this image right here. What's potentially going to happen to Italy? Potenza. Almost sounds like potential, doesn't it? Potenza, the potential for this to happen in Italy usually gives like 3-day warning, right? Always 3 days, 3 days later, 3 days here, 3 days for these CMEs to get from the sun to here. This happened on May 3rd. Today's May 6th. We might want to pray for the people of Italy. We should always pray for people, okay? And if something does happen to Italy, you guys don't be shaken, okay? If something does, I pray I'm wrong and nothing happens and all our prayers protect Italy, but I can see the writing on the wall here. Potenza, potential Italy on the 3rd of May. Also, the number 324, okay? 324 seems to be, well, it's March 24th, which is 3 days after spring. That's Easter. So 324 is Easter, and this happened on the 3rd, May 3rd of 2024. So you got your 324 there. All right. He uses numbers and dates, and they're signposts. They're biblical signs. They're signposts that were in a certain period of time, right? The end of days. So good thing that that's not. You see this hovering over your house, you just go, "Hey, not today. This is my friend right here. He'll protect me." Okay, so you guys shouldn't be seeing this kind of stuff or this kind of stuff over your house. All right, this is for the people who, well, who hate me or who are against me. A lot of stuff happened in Italy 2,000 years ago at the crucifixion, huh? Yeah, no wonder why something Potenza in Italy. And I wish this image was fake. I wish somebody had faked this stuff right here and come out and say, "Oh, I used this program and this is how I did it." But unfortunately, that's God's handiwork right there. It's the sky. And if you didn't really know what to look for, here, watch this. Wait, go back. I saw our little pug face right there. Right here. Whoops. I think. Our little dog face guy. Eye with the horns, maybe. No. Something right there, though, huh? Right next to this halo. Okay, so obviously spiritual events going on in the sky. It's good that you understand what's going on, the evil as well as the good realm. All right, so if you're on the fence, well, Satan owns the fence too. Okay, so get off the fence, get to safety, be at peace knowing that you're secure and that this kind of stuff is for the rest of the world that doesn't like well, we have a lot of people that hate us. All right. Oh dear. I wish this image was fake, but I forgot to put the link of this in the description. I'll try to remember to put the link of this in the description. Let's go back real quick and double check with our activity here. Just checking in. We're still at C8.6. You know what? That doesn't look refreshed. Yeah, it wasn't. Okay, because after that, we did come down to. Come back here, please. Okay, so the spike didn't come all the way down to the seafloor. We had a little hiccup right there, and it's still descending. We're at sea level C 4.5 at the moment. Okay, we still have this X flare potential of 50%. Strike one, strike two, 3 strikes, we're out. We've had 3 X flare strikes right there. Here's the D layer one more time. That's your impact zone area. Okay. So just kind of going back to check up on this to see, maybe make sure we're not having a second one that goes up there, you know, off the page. Okay, so currently kind of coming down. That's good. Now let's come back over to this area again. Let's go digging around in here, shall we? What was the other one I had for you? You want to see a bobcat real quick? A real bobcat? We live in the transition zone between desert and mountains, so we get
bobcat out here on our lawn.
We get both kinds of animals.
I knew I've seen a bobcat before. That is not a normal house cat. Wait till it runs, you'll see.
And I think this one's going to be even a little bit bigger, even though the low pressure is not going to equal that of the last storm. It's still going to be extremely.
You can hear me, MBB in the background.
100 miles, multiple states. By the time it's done, it's probably going to affect over half of the United States. And you're looking at right now.
There it goes. That was bobcat.
Look at that funky little butt.
Bobcat out here.
Look at that cute little butt.
By the time it's done, it's probably going to affect over half of the United States. And you're looking at.
Yeah. So pretty cool. We get some cool creatures around here. And deer come right up to our house and eat all the bird seed off the bird feeder. I caught you. Caught you. He turned and went, huh? What is? Oh, I got you, dude. I caught you eating the bird seed. Red-handed. He's got this look of shock on his face. Okay, we went through that stuff. I'll do that one real quick. See this V-shaped object right there? Come out of the etherical and go right at the camera. V for victory. You have victory. You're living victoriously. Is that the other one? Yeah, there's an angel at the foot of my bed, taking stuff off my head, flicking it away with this wing. Flick. And then a halo forms over his head. His head's like right in this black area too, where you can't really see much. So, but you can see the wing going up and down, another wing going up and down. The head's right in this area. This white ghostly image right here, and he's taking this affliction off of my head with his wing. He flicks it off, and then that halo that forms above his head, he shoots it to me, but it bounces off. And he hits it back with his wing. Or bounces off, hits his wing, so he... Okay. There's layout one. For all you guys who just dig the weird stuff. So, here again, these bowing angels. Okay, angels only bow to God. And then we got, oh, this one. Yeah, this is the one where it's lifting up my bike and fiery darts, spitting fiery darts. I get pleasure out of riding this bike, and he doesn't like me getting pleasure. So the next day when I went to go ride that bike, it broke. But there's like physical poltergeist activity where the spiritual realm is interacting with the physical and actually moving an object and showing me that it's moving the object by spitting a fiery dart on it. And when this happened, I wasn't even like doing my thing yet. I was still sitting here doing my prayers before, you know, setting up to do a picture session. All right, so I wasn't even expecting this to happen. I was going to finish up my prayers, go over, make sure camera's all good and set up, and then sit back down and do my thing. And what was captured before was this. So amazing stuff. I was a little blown away when I saw that. Okay, I think you guys are getting tired yet of this stuff. There's this guy with his eye, or his hand over his eye. Here's his other eye. Got puffy cheeks, little goblin ear right here. This little goblin face with his hand over his eye, and then this troll-looking face starts to come out of there as well. There's this little face that was also in the sky. Yeah. And this is a few of the frames of the lion face, some of the different ones. And you can see our mountain here in the foreground here. What were the other one? Here's the Grinch. A couple frames of that slapped together. Let's go. I think it's that one right there. No. I tried to make it where you could see him turning into the dragon, but it didn't. I don't think I ever finished getting all the frames for that one. This one's cool when it's smaller and compressed. So very, very scary stuff going on. It's important that you have this under your belt. Like I said, thousands of times, they're going to try to tell you you're born from ETs, you're panspermia, stardust, whatever. No. You were created in my image. You're human. You have that capacity to know good and evil. You're a small god. You're a little bunch of little gods running around here, and someone's trying to take all that away from you. You have the propensity to know good from evil. It's are you going to choose? And there's violence happens. Don't be a part of it. Stay away from it. Stay positive. Try to help your neighbor instead of fighting your neighbor. Think about the situations going on in the world right now in our presidential race, right? No matter who wins, doesn't matter. It's going to be hell to pay, either one side or the other, right? What would be a solution where that wouldn't happen? Well, if everybody would take notice, especially the Israelis, especially the Palestinians, that both of them are wrong. They are fighting each other over how wrong the other is, because neither one of them got it right. They need to be slapped around a little bit and told, hey, you're both a bunch of dummies. You both had it wrong. Wake up and see what's really going on. And this, knowing, the Muslims knowing that their God here, their God is real, but that they're going to pay a price, they might switch to thinking otherwise and be a little more peaceful. So it's important that these bad guys know that their God that they think that they pray to, oh, he's real, all right, but it's just not what you thought, okay? There's going to be hell to pay because of your violence and what you do, your disrespect to your father. There's going to be hell to pay. So yeah, there's your Allah right there. And take a look at what's happening to your countries that believe in Allah. And now he's looking down at Italy, where the Pope and Rome is. They were wrong too. Everybody was wrong, except for a few remnant. And they got caught up with me in the clouds. They're with me in the air right now in cyberspace. Imagine they're gonna be in for such a surprise. Shock of their life. You're not. I bet you when you're watching the news these days, you're just like, if they only knew what they were doing. You can see some people digging their own grave, can't you? By the lies and the stuff they're propagating in the news and all the stuff that they're trying to, perpetrate here on this earth. You can see where they're headed. They purposely want that, they think. Well, they're gonna get it. Like, it's not what they thought. It's everybody who had it wrong. All right, so you Muslims, you had it wrong. Okay, the Jews, there's your savior right there. You had it wrong. Okay, both sides are wrong, and they're fighting to say, well, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, you both are wrong. You could pretty much stop fighting now. It would end that. Well, I guess we were both wrong. Remember how we were talking and working on our spirituality, and it's important to admit when you're wrong? It's that step 10 there. You promptly admitted when you were wrong. It's because this world has a problem with admitting when they're wrong. It's that vital key that when you do admit that is freeing inside of you. Spiritually freeing when you admit, oh, dang, for 2,000 years, all this time we've been fighting each other, and the whole time both sides were wrong. And if they don't care, well, and they're going to take each other out, this is kind of like a warning to you guys, not to my audience, to the elite who are perpetrating this. Wake up and smell the pavement, because this realm is real, and if that's what you want, you're going to get it for eternity. For all those who put their faith and trust in a good guy, there is a good guy here, okay, to save the day, to save the good, the weak, the downtrodden, the weary, okay, the people who aren't the elite with rich and all this money and power and stuff. They're going to find something very scary coming their way, aren't they? And when you see these images should reassure you that you're all good. It's them who's in trouble. Anyways, that's me smiling at you because I love you guys. I forgot to do the update on the X-Flare, so that's why we came back again. And besides, I could hear somebody going, oh man, I wanted to see more. And they wanted to hear more about the X-Flare. So we came right back and took care of that, didn't we? Yeah, you're welcome. I heard you. So I think that's about it for right now. Just one last check-in with this. Yeah, it's still kind of tapering off. We'll have to keep an eye on this thing because we have 50% potential for X-Flares. And you see the hands praying right there. Okay. All this energy right here is going to have some impact. There will be, well, consequences or, effects when all this energy finally reaches Earth. Okay. In the meantime, keep your head up. Stay positive. All right. You guys are fighting a spiritual battle to stay positive during these hard times. When you look at these hard times as your test, your adversity that you're overcoming, and you look at it this way, it makes it a lot easier to deal with. And then you see from a new perspective that you're not here suffering on this earth. You're here making progress. Okay. That's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. And until my next show, I will be back. Bye.